Well, hello. Welcome to Orchid Bloom's podcast. Welcome back, bloomers. It is now the summer schedule for the podcast, which is 2 podcast episodes a month. But I am having difficulties finding the time to write these summer episodes with the awesome weather that we are experiencing right now. I love summertime. I have been enjoying myself. I have been relaxing, resting, enjoying the sun, going out for long walks, jogging, just truly enjoying this season because fall is around the corner, which I love fall, don't get me wrong, but then that comes with winter and I'm not looking forward to winter. But I have to get back to you, especially since I posted about 5 podcast episodes that I've already posted and I reposted it, and now I'm going to explain why I reposted them. The goal is to close out the cycle. In any situations that you have been in, you should always make sure to put a nail in the coffin so whatever is in that coffin can never come out or ever come back. This episode for our summer schedule is called Consequences. This episode is a continuation of the psychological manipulation episode that I did, and I had ended that episode by saying that it was ongoing, but now it has finally come to an end and I can talk about it. And now that it has ended, I just wanted to state that they have won. I know you are wondering why I sound excited, especially good and calm and cool. Well, let me explain. When I was terminated, you heard me, terminated, I felt nothing because I already knew what was coming. Months prior, I had already been feeling in my spirit that it was time to go. And I was waiting and applying and looking for better opportunities to level up myself and my career and match the aura and energy that I bring to the table. But unfortunately, I had to be terminated before I could accomplish that. Mentally and emotionally, I already checked out of this place. I checked out of the chaos and the mess that was being created by people in a position of power and authority. People that should have valued their professionalism, their character, as well as their reputation before coming against somebody who has been in these types of situations before, and it always backfires on anyone who decide that they want to make me their enemy, or at least in their mind they think they want to make me their victim. They figured the sacrifice would work in their favor and bring them blessings and opportunities and all these open doors. Well, so sorry to burst your bubble, but everyone that have done this in the past to me have never sought or received any praise or rewards for their behavior. And when they did, it was always momentarily because shit hit the fan afterwards. And this is why I wasn't worried. I literally got terminated, did what I needed to do. I was planning on getting things going as quickly as possible because I needed to get rid of the crap that was in my apartment. I don't want your garbage equipment. It needs to go. So I tried to attempt to get this process, this part of the process completed so I can just wash my hands and be like, boop. Anyways, I got up and I sat down on my couch. I grabbed my last champagne imported from Italy and I poured it out and I put my feet up and I just relaxed. And in that moment, I felt a burden just lifted off of my shoulder, because who the hell wants to be in a toxic environment? Who the hell wants to entertain chaos, watch and participate in games, constant games, and the messes that people who are trying to move forward in their career, the messes that they create? Nobody wants to watch someone self-sabotage and self-destruct. It's embarrassing. But as I said in the previous podcast episode, they're not embarrassed. They're really not. They really thought that this is how you prove that you are the best at your job. This apparently is to show that you are not incompetent. And because of the way that the environment is structured and the culture that they cultivate, they are correct. So this is why I said they won. They got exactly what they wanted. To this day, I still have no clue how anyone could survive in an environment so toxic like the one I just left. But I'm starting to learn that the reason why they can survive in such a toxic environment is because the environment was made for them. They showed me that they are just as toxic as the environment that they have created. Now that they've won, should I have felt it was punishment? Yes. But because the actor and director has been trying to punish me for months, this just felt like they were freeing me. It felt like a gift. I was being released from their toxicity. This was protection disguised as loss. I sat on my couch and I opened that bottle of champagne and I sat down and reflected on the burdens that was lifted off of me. And I had a sigh of relief. It just felt like, oh my gosh, I have been released. Whatever is coming, and I felt that coming. I felt like a storm was coming. A gigantic tornado was going to come and rip through their lives. I felt like I was saved. I was released before that tornado could hit. It was really, truly a form of protection. For people that seem like they hated me because they're so miserable with their lives, I never expected them to save me so that they can take the brunt of the tornado that is going to rip through their lives due to their actions and decisions. So when I said I was the main character in their lives, in their story, because they made me the main character, they put me on a throne. They put a crown on my head and they released me. And now I don't have to deal with whatever storms is coming, whatever they decided to bring upon themselves with their actions. I don't have to deal with it. After I left, it took about 3 weeks to a month for the protection that I have over myself that I have extended in that office space to be removed. Once that was removed, the blessings and opportunity came with me because, again, it's attached to me, my energy. And then afterwards, the last bit of my energy left that place. And now it's reaping season. And everybody knows you reap what you sow. Their behavior was cowardly, avoidant, and political. Political only because of all the lies. But while I am enjoying my consequences in peace, I thought of their consequences while I was drinking that wonderful champagne. Consequences are defined as a result or effect of an action or condition. Consequences aren't always immediate, but they are guaranteed, especially when the foundation is built on deception. What I have learned from this experience is that a lot of people seem to believe that consequences aren't real. They seem to believe that consequences are only real for others, because in their delusional mind, they have done nothing wrong, so why should they receive consequences, right? Right. But this is something that we have learned as children. Our parents have always taught us that actions have consequences. And so I'm very confused to see grown people in their old ass age, like you're closer to death than you are, young, vibrant, and wiggly. So why is it that in your old age, something that you should have taught your children and most likely have taught your children, did you miss the lesson in your life? Actions have consequences. I strongly believe in consequences. If you go back and listen to my episode on karma, you would understand in that episode that I understand what good and bad karma is. And due to the fear of karma itself, I tend to make sure that I don't put myself in a situation where I would reap bad karma due to my own actions, my own insecurity, or my delusional way of thinking. There is no way in hell I would put myself in a position to take consequences for something that I didn't truly want. And a lot of people justify their bad behavior in getting something that they want, not realizing that the grass isn't greener on the other side. And once you get what you actually want, it's not going to be as valuable as you thought it was. I'm sure you've seen those types of people out there who go off, they destroy relationship, they wreck homes, they do the most to get something, and once they get it, it was like more money, more problems kind of situation, right? The grass is never greener. You wanted it so bad, and now that you have it, you're like, wow, this isn't actually that great. It's more responsibility, and I'm not really getting as much return as I possibly could. You know why? Because you didn't earn it the right way. You did not maintain and learn how to maintain that level of success and learn how much work has to go into that level of success. So now that you're in it, you're like, I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I have to put too much work in it, I can't do this anymore, which is why I never believe in looking at the other grass. The other grass is never greener than mine, never greener than mine. So a lot of people seem to forget that consequences do exist. They see people's lives falling apart due to consequences, due to their actions. And even though they're in a situation where they feel they are being righteous, they know what they're doing is bad, but they feel that they can get away from consequences because of who they know. I don't know anybody who's going to ruin their own reputation and their own career, their own relationships, destroy what they've got, to sacrifice that to help you. I don't know anybody that would do that. So what was the guarantee in this situation? What was the guarantee? All I can say is you won. You won. When I look at the consequences of what these people have done and what they will reap from it, these people lie about who they are, lie on others, and also how they got to where they are. They cheated systems, people, and ethics. They stole credit, time, and peace from others just to wear a title they didn't earn. They slandered my name behind closed doors while standing beside me in a fake support. But here's the thing. What you built by breaking others will always collapse under the weight of your character. Every lie will circle back with a cost. Every stolen opportunity will become a burden to carry. Every betrayal will be met with the same energy because karma doesn't forget. You may get the promotion, the praise. You can continue to pretend, but you can't outrun the truth, karma, and justice. Your entire professional reputation is built on falsehood. And the higher you climb with dirty hands, the harder the fall. Consequences. That's the title of this podcast episode, so let's get into it. Here are the true, inevitable consequences of living through lies, theft, and manipulation, especially in professional and personal environments where integrity matters more than the title. First one on the list, my personal favorite, exposure. The one thing I've learned about these specific individuals is that they're attention seekers. They will do anything and everything to get attention, to get praise, to get rewarded. They're hungry. They're just so hungry. But be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Exposure. That's what happens when you crave attention and praise. What is built in the dark always comes to the light. I've learned this from when I was a child. Secrets don't stay behind closed doors. They eventually and always comes out. False credibility eventually unravels. When pressure rises or scrutiny comes, lies crumble and the truth reveals itself, often at the worst time. Consequences. This facade becomes fragile. Their name gets tied to inconsistency, manipulation, and dishonesty. Even if it's quiet at first, the loss of trust when you lie to so many people will eventually come back to you times 10. And I don't know any narcissist who can keep a straight lie for a long time because of how many people they've lied to. I don't know one successful narcissist that can pull that shit off. Even the people you recruited to be a part of this lie, you all wanted attention so badly that you didn't know that there was a dark side to attention. Exposure. I don't think exposure is a good thing, but if y'all think that way, let me know how it goes. Yeah. When you tie people to the lie by promising promotions, you created more witnesses. Now their only way out is to throw you under the bus. You created a transactional relationship because you needed help to come up against me. Thank you for putting me on that throne. You won, boo. You won. All because you needed friends and people who would support your lies for a promotion. Now, dangling this fruit in front of these low vibrational people worked brilliantly. I have to compliment the mastermind behind targeting weak-minded people to offer up a promotion that wasn't in writing and there was never a guaranteed. It was just a lie. So this one small-minded man, I think he's old enough, he should be a man, but anywho, was sitting there beside me, across from me, bragging about how he's going to have all these open doors and he's, going to get a promotion and head office is going to reach out to him and offer him something. And then he was just kind of sitting there talking about how, if they do offer him something that doesn't really fit what he's looking for, like he's not going to take it, because in his mind, in his delusional mind, he believes that opportunities just fall from the sky in a department that doesn't really have any opportunities to offer anybody. And so he's like planning in advance as if he's already won, right? And I was laughing my ass off on the inside because you can't laugh out loud. It's a very quiet, dark hole of an office. And I was just laughing on the inside because he's sitting there fantasizing and bragging about these endless opportunities as if these people were going to show up and roll out the red carpet for him and go, we got this for you. We have this for you. We have this for you. You just need to choose. We really want you. We really, really, really want you. And he was just bragging. He was just going off and feeling so self-important and feeling so powerful in that moment. And I kept thinking to myself, well, you haven't got me fired yet. So why are you planning on money that the department doesn't have? They don't have it. But you seem to know something that I don't. So maybe this cult that you guys have talk about this secret reserve that this department has, and you feel like you're going to get a small fortune. These people thought they were going to get a small fortune out of this department for coming against me because they're going to get this promotion and they're super excited and they're planning out their lives. They're planning buying houses. They're planning getting new cars. They're planning all these wonderful things in their mind, but nothing's on paper. Nothing is guaranteed. Who really knows about this lie that was given to you to get you to participate in the smearing of somebody else? The promises weren't documented, but these people really created a whole elaborate plan on a small fortune that they believe they're going to get for coming against me. They felt so powerful over this promotion that isn't documented anywhere. And so with all this big delusion, I just watched thinking, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. They're thinking more money, but no problems. No. The saying is more money, more problems. You will get all of this because you won, right? You won. So They're just going to come to you and shower you with praises and offer you all these options for promotion and a small fortune of money because of what you did. The delusion over little old me, a 5'2" little girl looking like I couldn't hurt a fly. Me, all of you against me. Well, the good news is you're finally going to get what you want. And what do you really want out of anything in the world? Exposure. More people knowing your name. More people seeing how great you are just for taking me down. You won. You won. Be proud of yourself. Celebrate. Go buy yourself a nice champagne from Italy and celebrate all together. All of you together. Yeah, you won. The second consequence that everybody loves. Everybody looks forward to this one. I know you're going to agree. It is reputational decay. Titles can't protect bad reputation. They may have gotten ahead through false means, but over time, people notice patterns because you got away with this many times before. You will become bolder with your action. Colleagues lose respect. Higher ups question credibility. Their success becomes silent, questioned, then openly doubted. Reputational decay. Consequences. Loss of trust and influence. Even if they remain in the room, they still will not be trusted by many, and people won't be listening to their words. Reputational decay. Who doesn't enjoy that? The third wonderful consequence from all of the actions that y'all have done is internal rot. Ooh, sounds great, right? Internal rot is living inauthentically, requires consistent performance. I'm going to say the nice and slow because I want you to understand the gravity of what I just said. Consistent performance. The weight of maintaining a false image creates paranoia, stress, burnout. Even if they admit it, they're never at peace. Who doesn't want peace? I love peace. I love peace so much that I literally sat on my couch drinking champagne with my feet up on my coffee table thinking, thank you for releasing me, because you've given me the one thing that I've wanted for months, which is peace. Peace. Something that you will never find now. You've given me something so you can keep the chaos, you can keep the mess, and you can keep being exposed and being put in a corner and scrutinized. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I wouldn't even wish that on myself. I wouldn't take on that burden. But I'm very glad that you gave me peace and you get to keep chaos. The weight of the lies that you were responsible for, you are going to now have to back up. You claimed that you were the reason for all the positivity that was happening, for spearheading such progress and positive changes. You took credit for my hard work. You decided that you wanted to jump on my back to try to move forward. And since I threw your ass off and I said, boundaries, don't touch me, my energy's not yours, goodbye, you decided to temper tantrum like children and decided to give me peace and provide me with release. Again, thank you. I thank you so much for that. I wonder what will happen now when you can't produce my numbers, when you can't produce my results, put out fires the way that I did. I wonder who was the real blueprint for the success you're taking credit for. Lies, they backfire. So the consequence of internal rot is that you feel anxiety, fear of being found out, imposter syndrome, which I did a podcast episode on, so definitely go and listen to that. even self-sabotage. This actor has shown me that he is not only self-sabotaging himself, he is also very self-destructive, especially when he doesn't get what he wants. I wish all the co-conspirators luck with all of that. If he goes down, you will all go down with him. He will make sure of that because y'all are friends in his mind, in his delusional mind. You guys are all friends. You guys are a family, and you all should perish together. The fourth consequences is a cycle of isolation. Something that they were all plotting to happen to me was now being given to them. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I have no problems with isolation. You were protecting me from the mess and chaos that you were creating. So I was just real happy to be completely isolated. I recall just thinking, oh, Christmas lunch. Oh, I'm poor. I can't make it. I'm going to help you isolate me. How about that? Yeah, because I have no problems with it. This is a shit show, a complete shit show. I want no part of it. I'm good. I'm good. Deuces. All that bullshit's for the birds. You ain't nothing but a vulture. You see what I'm saying? You just need to step 10 toes down and exit a situation, because chaos and mess is not my thing. You will not catch me participating in karmic behaviors that is going to bounce back on me in a very negative way. Nobody wants to experience what they're giving to others times 10. I promise you, no one can handle it. No one can. I can't. I would rather be terminated. And you did that for me. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you. When you manipulate people to get ahead, eventually no one stands beside you willingly. They pushed people away through deceit. Now they're surrounded by users, not supporters. Loyalty doesn't grow in poisoned soil. Consequences of the cycle of isolation is that they become respected out of fear, not love, admired for power, not character. But were they respected? I mean, based on what I shared in Psychological Manipulation podcast episode, respect out of fear would mean all the people they surround themselves with are giving fake respect. And based on that episode, what I said, they are. Looking back, they are. They're giving you fake respect. Admired for power. What power? In this situation, you lied and displayed it as power. You don't need to lie if you have true power. Manipulation isn't true power. It's weak-minded. It shows that you don't have it and you're lying to emulate something you don't have. That's what lies do. So as much as I said the consequences is that, they become respected out of fear, then no one fears you. They don't like you. They told me this and showed me this themselves. They showed it to me, and your delusion just jumped over your head. The consequences is, I guess, fake respect. It's fake. They're smiling and laughing in your face, but they don't actually respect you, but they make you believe that they respect you. They never loved you, and they don't admire your power. They're kind of shaking their head because, he's a delusional character, and we kind of need to make sure he stays in that delusion, or we have no idea what we're going to deal with. So I guess the fear is there, but it's a fear of the tantrum that you are going to throw and how it's going to affect everyone in a negative way. So that's the consequences to me. That's the consequences. But if I'm wrong, y'all can let me know. And the fifth consequence on the list, and again, I dedicated a whole episode to this one, and it is called karma. Karma. Energy is real. Intentions have weight. What you do to others will eventually happen to you. And since you all did that to me, it's coming back to you times 10. 10! It may come through betrayal, embarrassment, public failure, or a quiet loss. Consequences. The same tactics they use will be used on them because none of you could handle what you gave to others. So this is going to hurt because, as I said in a previous podcast episode, what they gave, they couldn't handle. They're weak. And so the consequences is getting back times 10 everything you have done to so many people for so many years. And that doesn't just include myself. I said there was a tornado that was going to run through your lives. It's not just me. It's every single person you have done this to prior to me. Karma. I did my job. My job was to come in and put a tag. And that tag, no matter what you've done in the past to avoid bad karma, it will never work again. That tag that I put on you is to make sure that karma never miss. And I promise you, it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. I wish I could watch, but I can't. Oh well. Number 6, consequences. Number 6 is stagnation in spirit. Success without integrity is a prison. The pit you dug for me is the new humble abode for you, for all of you. Even if they succeed on paper, they will never find or feel fulfilled. Something will always feel missing because it wasn't earned with truth. They stole, they lied, they cheated for the opportunities that they will get, but they can't steal peace, which they will never find. Consequences: constant dissatisfaction, envy, comparison, emotional emptiness, constantly jealous that someone is going to come and take what they have because they may actually earn it. Now, how did I feel while working in this environment? The people and my own growth. The environment was never safe. It was performative, professionalism masking poor leadership, unchecked egos, and retaliatory energy. The people who had power were more concerned with control than community. It revealed how uncomfortable people became when you're no longer small, silent, or easy to manipulate. My growth made me incompatible with toxicity. I no longer ignored red flags or stayed quiet to be liked. It wasn't worth it. I didn't even want to be liked by these people. Very low vibrational. I had outgrown the cage that could only be locked from the inside. Who really had the power in my situation? Who? Being terminated, it validated every unspoken truth. My intuition was never wrong, has never been wrong. Everything I sensed was accurate. The fake smiles, the subtle sabotage, the shifting energies whenever I entered the room, the resentment behind the compliments, and the tension that followed my progress. If only you minded your own business and focused on that backlog you were trying to avoid working on, you may have succeeded at actually accomplishing a promotion on your own merit and on your own work. If only you did that. Everything I said would happen, happened. That wasn't paranoia. That was prophecy. Due to this situation, I trust myself more. I don't wait for people to show me who they are twice. I believe you, and I believe you the first time. I don't explain away the red flags. I don't ignore the weight in my chest when something feels off, because now I know my intuition doesn't need validation. It was the truth before the evidence was shown. Termination was a gift. They released me. No more stagnation. Constant games where no one ever wins. Dealing with low vibrational people who are miserable and fear mongering, and they hate themselves and others. Constant jealousy and envious of others. That is just toxic. All they do amongst this cult of people is just feed on each other's insecurities. It was disgusting to watch, just disgusting. I walked away from this reclaiming the power of discernment. I walked away with my dignity and my awareness and my peace intact. They tried to twist the stories, but I already knew the truth, and that was my armor. It was like watching a reality show where the cast didn't know the camera was rolling, but I saw everything. I saw through the smiles, I read through their silence, I witnessed their schemes, not just towards me, but towards people they claimed to care about. They actually thought they were playing me, but I already checked out. I mean, you ever watch a reality show where you just keep seeing something happen over and over and over again, like it's insanity, and then you're just like, ugh. And so you just check out, but you keep watching because it's there. Yeah, that was how I felt. I took my power back the moment I stopped doubting what I knew. They had to reach, dig, and invent scenarios just to justify what they'd already decided. The truth stood taller than the many stories. The gift wasn't just release, being freed from that environment. The gift was leaving with my power multiplied, because I saw everything, felt everything, and never let it change my integrity. So, did they win? The win would look like I submitted. I fake smiled, fake respected, laughed at the bad jokes, faked friendships with them as they were already doing with each other, giving credit for my work to them, lying for them, be the token black girl and serving them like a house slave. Since they didn't get that, did they win? They did get the attention that they always wanted, attention they wanted me to give them by lying for them. They got the exposure they wanted. The blueprint is gone because it's me. Now they have to work harder to fill my big shoes. I am exhausted for them. They gotta keep up with their own lies, which is very difficult to do. So I think they won. They are now getting exactly what they deserve. They won. I know you're mad, but so what? I wish you best of luck. And now I'm finna throw them deuces up. Who doesn't know that song, y'all? Best song ever. But I wanted to definitely end it with deuces. This concludes this podcast episode. I hope you aren't like the people that do not know how to take accountability. That way, consequences that you receive will be easier to handle because you're not delusional. Focus on the reality of things. I have heard so many stories of people who have experienced what I have in a toxic workplace. I wish them healing. Protect your peace. Thank you for supporting the Orchid Blooms podcast. Take this time to subscribe, follow, and don't forget to rate and leave a review on the podcast platform of your choice. Subscribe and follow our social media pages, Orchid Bloom's YouTube channel, The Ambitious Session Network on Facebook, at The Ambitious Ops on Twitter, at The Ambitious Net on Instagram. Share your favorite podcast episode with your family and friends, and I really do hope you have a splendid day.